Hey legends, hope you had a fantastic round one in 2025. Going to put together just a little quick video on stats checking players making trading decisions. So I've picked out two players to have a look at in this video. One had a very high round in round one. The other had a bit of a low round in round one. Both players quite popular. This is probably a trade a lot of people are considering. So I'm not here to say which way you should go on either player. I'm just picking out these two to use as an example of let's go by the numbers, have a look, and let some numbers come into the decision making process. So the first player we're going to look at is Tom Gilbert. I'm going to pull up his player profile in here because he straight away gets some key metrics. So what I'm going to look at is price stats. So he's already gone up in price. He's now priced at 41.3 points, 529k. He's got a break even this round. Our break even for him is 20, currently owned by 26% of people. Our own projections for him are around the 44 mark. Now, that could be low, but let's have a look at how we've kind of arrived at them and also sort of check what our expectations are. If you're looking at Gilbert with really itchy fingers because he scored 65, is that really what you should expect going forward? My advice is focus on role. Forget about what they scored on the weekend. Don't get any preemptive ideas in your head of what you think they're going to score. Focus first on the role. So his role is starting lock, and we're projecting him in that role at about 57 minutes. Now, you could be projecting him at 65 minutes, 70 minutes. That's for you to come to your own decision on. Use us as a point of reference, as a compass. You don't have to go by everything we actually come out at, but it's a good starting place, and that's what you should use it as. So let's have a look at his game log. Now we're interested in him in a role of playing lock. So that's what we're going to focus on. Let's pull up all of his lock games from the past. Now, we actually do some funky stuff with our own stats as well. So, any games where a player has been um, cycled through various positions due to in game injuries. For instance, let's say he started a game at lock, ended up being shifted to centre in one of his games. That's not going to be in this game log. We would actually have that down as being a interchange game unless he played 80% of his time at lock in that game. Just something to be aware of with our stats. So here's his lock games from the past. Okay, 45, 50 for 45, 60 for 59, 80 for 35, 49 for 39. Okay, so what did he score on the weekend? Let's have a quick look. Fantasy. Tom Gilbert. So 65 from 56 minutes. So our 57-minute projection looks pretty good based on that. That had 59 tackles in it. That's massive. One tackle break, three missed tackles, 98 meters. Okay, so what sort of numbers does he normally have? So let's have a look at his base numbers. So, geez, he's never had that many tackles in a game prior playing lock. Lows 34, 35, highs 42. So straight off the bat, we can see we're probably looking at a bit of an outlier score what he did round one. Okay, let's have a look at what his PPMs are. So if we have a look across his all of his lock games from 2023, he averaged 58.8 minutes for 47.5 points. He had a 64 in there, 59, 56. Already always also had some lower scores in the 30s, averaged out at about 47.5, around zero point 0.8 points per minute. So is he kind of a good buy now? Well, he's currently, let's go back to our player profile on him. He's currently priced at 41.3. General rule of thumb is you're looking for 10 points of value to use a trade. So he'd need to be going at 51.3. And that's a little bit higher than what his past is. So, we're kind of pretty comfortable that he's going to average somewhere around 44 to 48. We don't kind of think he's going to average too much more than 48. But again, that's for you to decide. Now, the other thing you want to factor in here is, um, let's say you think that he can get to 53. That'd give him 10 points of value to 52. That'd give him a little bit over 10 points of value. But what sort of value are you currently getting in the player that you're trading out? Well, let's think if we were going to be trading out Alex Seyfarth. So he had a price drop round one. He's now priced at 36.3, break even of 41. We're projecting him up around the 50 mark. Again, we could be right, we could be wrong. It's entirely up to you to kind of use us as a compass, use us as a little bit of a starting point and build your own framework up from there. But the role that we have for him is playing pretty consistently 80 minutes on an edge. Now, what did he do on the weekend? Well, he had a HIA. So he was on the field for the entire game up until he actually got HIA'd off. That's why I can't find him. He's in my team. Okay, so if we have a look at his match stats, 64 minutes for 29 points. The 29 points isn't really kind of exciting us. Um, it looked very much like he was going to play the 80 though. So if we're expecting him to stay in an 80-minute role, what should we kind of expect from him? Well, again, let's have a look at his past. So we'll come back over here to our game log, and let's have a look at games he's played back row, and let's put a floor in there of 70 minutes. So we can see that in 2022, 2024, he's played 8 games, and he's been pretty consistent. 54, 59, 41, 71, 59, 42, 59, 49. Okay. So his round one score was a little bit low. He scored, what was it, 29? Um, 29 from about 60, just over 60 minutes. So if you play the other 15, he's probably scoring another 6 or 7 to be around about a 35. Yeah, okay. So it's a bit of a low game for him, but we have history on him. If he is going to be playing 80 minutes pretty regularly, then yeah, it's pretty fair to expect that they're going to end up seeing something kind of around the 50-point mark. So that's an awful lot of value to be trading out. Um, for kind of, my own read is if Seafarth is playing regularly 80, the value in there is too great to even consider shifting him on for Tom Gilbert, whose value to me still looks a bit iffy, and you've just lost a big chunk of it. That's the other thing to consider as well. Anyway, that's the main point is just having a look at around our game log page. We can also have a look at our analytics page. Our analytics page has all the same filters, runs very much the same way, so we can have a look at Alex Seyfarth's back row games, playing 70 plus minutes. And what we actually get is a positional. If we don't have the position filter set, we'll get all the positions he's played. So let's turn that off. That's why, because I've got that filter going. Okay, so most of his games have been interchanged. He's got three lock games, nine back row games. Apart from the nine back row games, we have two other positions get allocated post games. We could allocate a player's position as edge middle, which meant that he played predominantly edge with some middle, or middle edge games where he played predominantly middle with some edge. So we can see his PPMs in those roles, his average minutes in those roles, fantasy average in those roles, average without goal kicking, which is the same for Safer because he doesn't goal kick, um, base, goal points, kicking points, attacking points, tackle breaks. We've got an analytical breakdown of how his points were accumulated across those game samples, as well as down the bottom, scoring probability by position. So if we want to, we can let's just quickly go back to having a look at his back row games with a 70-minute floor. So 62.5% have been 50 plus. That's pretty fair. And 100% prior had been 40 plus. Again, it's only about a 9 game sample from memory that we were looking at, but he looked pretty consistent across that sample as well. So, that's something that I think the only thing that really comes down to for me for Alex Seafarth is does he regularly get the 80 minutes or does he become a Zach Hosking who's often getting like 60, 65 minutes? Again, that's a call for you to make. Look, thanks very much for your time. Uh, good luck with your trading decisions for the week. If you want some fantastic stats and analytical tools to be using, our site is absolutely second to none, and it's cheap as chips. The fantasy coach subscription is I don't get it. So it's what's $20, $30 a month. We've priced ours pretty competitive to that. Our Fantasy Pro platform, it's sorry, $30 a season for our Fantasy Pro platform. That gives you everything, all of our stats pages, all of our um, tools, game tools, all of our own projections, also some other experts' projections. So if you play a lot of fantasy, if you're really getting into this game, it works out to $1 a round pretty much over the course of the season. Cheapest chips for all the time development and effort goes into it. Thanks for your time. We'll catch you soon. Bye.